No one noticed the woman sitting alone on the cold metal bench outside the downtown hospital. She looked small against the tall glass building, clutching a worn purse with both hands, her eyes fixed on the ground. People rushed past her in expensive suits, doctors hurried by, nurses checked their phones. And inside one black luxury car, a powerful CEO was about to make a decision that would change his life forever. What he didn't know was that a few simple words from this widow, spoken without anger, without blame, were about to break through his carefully built armor and remind him what it truly means to be human. Before we begin, if you enjoy emotional stories that remind us of kindness, compassion, and the power of small moments, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. This is Heartfelt Moments, and your support helps us bring more meaningful stories like this to life. Jonathan Reed was the kind of man people feared and admired at the same time. As the CEO of a major healthcare corporation, he was known for his sharp mind, strict policies, and zero tolerance for excuses. He believed emotions had no place in business. Efficiency mattered. Numbers mattered. Feelings did not. That morning, Jonathan was already irritated. A board meeting had run long, profits were down in one sector, and his assistant had informed him that several patients were protesting new billing policies outside one of their hospitals. Jonathan sighed and told his driver to pull up at the main entrance. He had no time for complaints. As he stepped out of the car, his eyes briefly caught the sight of the woman on the bench. She looked tired. Not just physically tired, but the kind of tired that settles deep in the soul. Jonathan looked away. He had learned long ago not to get involved. But fate had other plans. As he walked toward the entrance, the woman suddenly stood up. Her legs trembled slightly as she spoke, her voice soft but steady. "Sir, excuse me." Jonathan stopped. His first instinct was annoyance. But something in her tone made him turn around. "Yes," he said curtly. She looked up at him, and her eyes were red, not from crying now, but from crying too much before. "My husband died here last night," she said quietly. "He was turned away twice because we couldn't pay the full deposit." Jonathan's jaw tightened. He had heard these stories before. Usually exaggerated. Usually emotional. "I'm sorry for your loss," he replied, in the practiced voice of corporate sympathy. "But hospital policies." She gently raised her hand, not to interrupt, but to calm him. "I'm not here to argue," she said. "I just wanted you to know something." Jonathan hesitated. Against his better judgment, he stayed. She took a deep breath. "Before he died, my husband looked exactly like you." That sentence landed heavier than any accusation. Jonathan frowned. "What do you mean?" She swallowed. "He was always in a hurry. Always working. Always saying, just one more project. Just one more deal." He believed providing money was the same as being present. Jonathan felt an unexpected tightening in his chest. "He missed birthdays," she continued. "He missed dinners. He missed our daughter's school plays." And when he finally slowed down, it was too late. The hospital doors slid open behind Jonathan, but he didn't move. "He wasn't a bad man," the widow said softly. "He just forgot to be kind, to himself, and to others. Especially when it mattered most." There was no anger in her voice. No blame. Just truth. Jonathan thought of his own life. The penthouse apartment he barely slept in. The son he hadn't spoken to in weeks. The employees he dismissed without learning their names. The policies he approved without seeing faces. "I'm not asking for money," she added quickly. "Or an apology. I just thought, if someone had told my husband sooner, maybe things would have been different." Jonathan felt something crack inside him. For the first time in years, he sat down, right there on the cold bench beside her. "I didn't know," he said quietly. "I never thought about it like that." She nodded. "Most people don't. Until it hurts." They sat in silence for a moment. Cars passed. life moved on. "Can I ask you something?" Jonathan finally said. She looked at him. "What was your husband's name?" "Michael," she replied, a faint smile touching her lips. Jonathan stood up slowly. "Thank you for telling me about Michael." Later that day, Jonathan cancelled his remaining meetings. His assistant was shocked. The board was furious. But Jonathan didn't care. Within weeks, he ordered a full review of hospital policies. Emergency care rules were revised. Payment plans were expanded. Training programs on empathy and patient communication were introduced. But the biggest change wasn't in the company. It was in Jonathan. He started leaving work before sunset. He called his son. He listened more than he spoke. He learned names. He looked people in the eye. Months later, Jonathan returned to that hospital. He found the bench empty, but the memory full. He whispered to himself, "Thank you, Michael." Kindness hadn't cost him anything that day. But it gave him everything he didn't know he was missing. And sometimes, all it takes to change a life is one honest sentence, spoken with compassion. If this story touched your heart, remember this: you never know what someone is carrying, and you never know how powerful your kindness can be. A small moment, a gentle word, a pause to listen, it can change a life. Let's choose kindness every day.